Kyozen, if you want to give just the name you want other players to refer to you by, and maybe a sentence or two about your character, you definitely can, and then we'll get started.
Sure. My name's Kyozan. I'm going to be playing Tyson Fireforge. He's a fighter, sorcerer, looking to learn to control his powers and at the same time test himself in the gladiator fights.
All right, let's do this. Uh, and I'm going to turn on some music inside of Roll20. Let's see, what do we have? Fire song. I like this. All right. For those tuning into the stream, hello and welcome. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the Ilderon Tales. This is the Gladiators, season Saga 1, episode 25 of their campaign. We are playing D&D tonight, Dungeons and Dragons. It is a role-playing game, and everything you're going to see tonight is going to be live storytelling, and it can go in any direction. One of the cool parts about playing this game, if you're under the age of 14 and you're watching this, please take a moment to stop the video and talk to your parents, because you're probably going to see content that's inappropriate for you. Finally, we're playing in a homebrewed world of our own creation. It is the world of Ilderon. You can Google search it. There's a wiki, there's a world anvil, there's a website. You can read more about it. It's a really cool setting with lots of interesting stuff. I'm assuming if you made it to episode 25, you know at least something about the world getting this far. And finally, people have been talking in the Twitch chat for the last couple episodes. I really appreciate you. It is ridiculously hard for me to read that during the session, so I probably won't respond to it. But you are definitely welcome to join our Discord and chit chat in the campaign discussion channel, or even pop me a message. With that, let's jump into the recap. Or before we jump into the recap, I did remove Tumbutu from this group, and where one player has left, we have joined two more. We have two wonderful new players joining us, and we will introduce those characters later tonight, but you might have heard them talking briefly as the broadcast was started. We got Kaio and John joining us, which are hopefully going to be great additions to the party. Jumping into the recap, last session took place on the 37th of Noble. The party had found out that the administrator for the Feyfelin Arena, the name of the arena here is the Windswept Rounds. And going a little bit more in depth, we are currently in the nation of Ililnagai. It is a magical nation, and we are in the capital of Ililnagai, Sky's Reach. And the party is here to enter into the Sky's Reach arena that is ran by the Feyfelin Circle. It is the Windswept Rounds is the name of the arena. They found out on the 36th of Noble that the arena organizers had been attacked, kidnapped, and were missing. As a quick response to this, the Feyfelin Circle has dispatched a new set of organizers to run this particular one of their arenas, and they were to arrive here on the 37th. It is currently the 37th. Before the party could make their way to the arena, they found out within their midst was a doppelganger, and that one of their party members had also been kidnapped and snatched or swapped. The doppelganger was impersonating the party member, and after the party member had escaped their bonds, the party member being XV was able to reconnect with the party and inform them that they had a doppelganger XV traveling with them. The party turned on the doppelganger. She fled, tried her best to get away, took through the alleyways of the inner city, and when that failed, took to the rooftops, and now she is cornered and pressed. Well, I say cornered, but it's not so much as a corner. She's on a rooftop. The party has chased her to essentially the end of the line. Some of the party members had fallen behind, some had given up the chase, some were there. In the chase, you guys have lost to Mbutu. He seems to have gotten distracted or wandered off. I think it was Brewbark and C's who got on the rooftop. XV had given up the chase, and Regus was climbing his way there. Do I have that correct, or does anybody remember it differently?
That's correct for my character.
All right, we are going to pick up on the 37th. I'm going to move you guys to the alleyway for now. I just kind of drew out a impression of this grid. You are in Sky's Reach. It is a huge metropolis of a city. The inner city is tiered, and there are different levels of the city built on top of itself. You guys have chased her to the edge of the inner city. She is on a rooftop, and behind her is a wall, and past this wall is a 40-foot drop down into the next tier of the city. That said, you guys have had a winding chase through the alleyways. Some of your party members have gotten lost, and I'm going to drag some onto the battlefield. So C's, it has climbed up onto the rooftop. Brewbark has climbed up onto the rooftop. XV, I'm going to put you on the battlefield. You're free to move your character in any direction that you want. And, well, you're going to see two of you, Jordan, just because there are another
There
one.
are two of me.
Yeah. Regus, you are climbing the rooftop. Let's see, did we end with initiative? We did not end with initiative last session. Alright. Let's start without initiative. If you guys take aggressive actions or aggressive things happen, then we can just roll initiative from here. Let's see, what is appropriate music? We'll go with this. All right, standing on the rooftop, you can see the doppelganger XV standing in front of you with practically nowhere else to run. She looks out over the city and back towards you and is going to say, "I only did as I was told. I am a shadow born anew into this world."
And do as you're told now. Surrender.
She is going to shake her head and say, "I have failed my master's wishes. I must return."
You will not return. You can't make it. Cecil step forward just a little bit.
At which point, she's
Doing
gonna...
that slow Terminator walk.
Yeah, she's gonna look at the drop in front of her. And I'm gonna roll her a boldness die. I'm gonna roll a D100. The higher the percent, the more willing she is to take a plunge. She's going to walk to the edge of the building. She's gonna look down and look back and close her eyes, and she'll say, "What's death feel like?"
I wouldn't know. C's actually will rush forward and try to trip her.
Okay, roll me initiative.
Ooh.
I mean, she rolled a 9, but she might probably... Oh, well, hey, there we go.
And Brewbark, you want to get in on this?
Yeah,
Come on.
Brewbark will join initiative.
Why did I roll initiative 3 times?
Sure, I don't know.
I pressed it once.
Weird networking will do that to you.
Let's see. I'm going to go with
You
your
take the
3,
3.
Jordan.
Yeah. Take the
So
3.
you can hear shouting and join the party. Let me pull up XV's stats. The real XV.
Her stats aren't that great for her initiative-wise.
She's actually kicking some butt. And I will control Brewbark for this. Regus, you are on the ground climbing onto the roof. You hear shouting and a rush of footsteps. Do you want to join initiative order, or do you want to just wait until next round?
I'll join.
Okay, go ahead and give me an initiative order.
Let's see. Oh, come on. I thought I hit the button. There we go. Whoa!
Well. All right. So, climbing is... Always have to remember the climbing rules. I'm pretty sure you climb at half speed. It's just difficult terrain as long as it's not incredibly... as long as it's not like, you know, a slick wall or rushing rapids or something like that. So
what if...
Go ahead.
What if I use acrobatics and kind of just make jumps up the ladder and jump up a couple times?
So you would be making a standing leap. And that would be, you were able to leap, equal to, I believe, half of your strength score, a number of feet.
So I'd be able to...
Oh, go ahead.
So I'd be able to leap 8 feet.
Do you have 16 strength?
Yeah.
Okay. So the high jump, Oh, wait. I lied. When you make a high jump, you leap into the air a number of feet equal to 3 plus your strength modifier. If you move at least 10 feet immediately before the jump. When you make a high jump, you can only jump half that. Or when you make a standing high jump, you can only jump half that distance. Okay, so your strength modifier is 16, you said?
3.
Yeah, so that's that's gonna be 6. You can do a standing jump and get 3 feet of distance into the air. And this is no check or anything. That is just what you're able to use, and it just costs you 3 feet of movement. Just leaping straight up. You can extend your hands above your head. What are you, 3 feet tall? You can cover a distance with your hands above your head of 3 plus 3 feet, 6 feet, plus the length of your arms, 1.5 feet, would be about 8 feet. That's gonna be about half the distance you need to climb. You can leap straight up onto the wall, grabbing onto the leap straight up onto the wall, grabbing onto the vine. I forget the name for the type of railing that you grow vines on. It's slipping my mind. It starts with a C. A trellis? No, it doesn't start with a C. Never mind. Yeah, trellis.
Okay.
And yeah, you're halfway there. You can spend I'll take 15 feet of movement, and I'll let you reach the rest of the top. So in total, that's of your 30 feet. You should have more because you're a barbarian. I think you have 35 feet of movement.
Well, you also have 35 feet.
Okay, so 3 feet from your jump, and then I'm taking 15 feet of movement from you. You land on top of the building rooftop. Just for the sake of a 5-foot square, you can roll forward, and 20 feet of movement saves you the 30 feet of movement I was going to charge you for getting up here originally.
Woohoo!
You spent 20 feet of movement. You've got 15, and you can see, and we'll get to some combat music. C's has charge. I'm going to move C's forward 5 feet of movement. The doppelganger is overlooking the rest of the city. She is turning around. It seems she's going to be quicker to action before C's gets to her. What do you want to do? You have your action, the rest of your movement, and your bonus action.
Let's see, and Brewbark's up there?
Brewbark is up here. Brewbark is going to stir to action. It seems that
is he in his?
Going to be quicker.
Okay, is he in his?
He is not wild
form.
shape.
Or...
Yeah, he is currently a. Is Brewbark an orc? He's a half orc.
Okay, well, I'm thinking. I'm going to move. 10 feet north west to Burbark.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get in the square and say, Brewbark, chuck me!
Alright. Brewbark will do so on your turn. Do you want to use your action to do anything? You could ready an action. If Brewbark throws you close enough, you take an attack.
Yeah, I'm going to ready a. I'm going to ready an attack with my maul going for non-lethal damage.
Okay. Alrighty. It is XV's turn. XV is surprised as C's has initiated combat. She doesn't take an action on her first turn of combat. However, the surprise condition is removed. From her clothes, she is going to pull out a short sword, wield it in a reverse grip as she gets ready to fight. That said, it is Brewbark's turn. Brewbark is going to pick up Regis, and what's his strength looking like? I should have it on my screen here. I think Brewbark is the champion of Halfling Ball, though.
That I am.
I think it was rigged.
Halfling Ball was rigged, but who cares? Push, pull, drag. Brewbark is going to pick up Regis and is going to charge forward, tossing Regis into the fight, using his action to do so. At which point, Brewbark is going to then use his bonus action to polymorph into a bear, letting out a roar. That is his turn. It is your turn, Jeff for C's.
Alright. Move all the way up and whip out the ball and chain for a trip attack.
Okay. Give me an attack roll. She's no longer surprised.
And this is non-lethal, by the way.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to
13, 26 hits, 13 does miss. Give me damage on that first attack.
Okay, and I'm adding a trip attack to that.
Okay.
It's been a while. Let's see.
And that's a dexterity check contested by your strength, or is that just a strength saving throw?
I add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll, and they must have to make a strength save. If they fail the save, they are knocked prone.
Okay. She is prone.
I think my die is a D8 right now.
Okay, that's going to be a total of 17 damage she's taken that you guys are aware of. She is going to grit her teeth. By the way, for Regis, his readied attack, his readied action goes off. You can take the attack action with your reaction.
Okay, so going in smacky smacky.
Oh, the 10 is going to miss.
Okay. I do have a second attack.
Yeah, go ahead and make a second one. The 9 is going to... I have problems. Oh, I'm going to give you a benefit here. Your readied action triggered before C's tripped her. I forgot to remind you to do it.
Oh.
So you don't have advantage on the attack when it technically goes, but I'm going to take your first attack as Brewbark throwing you in. You swing at her, she dodges, C's trips her. I am going to give you advantage on that second attack and just take the 18.
And you can call the advantage on that reckless assault, because I would normally use reckless assault.
Yes, but I think you have to declare reckless on your turn. So I'm giving you advantage on the prone, because C's did knock her prone. So the 18 is going to
okay.
So
okay.
Go ahead and give me that. Go ahead and give me damage on that 18. All right.
Non-lethal, and I'm smacking her in the head. I'm trying to knock her out.
Okay, she is not bloodied as your hammer collides with her. She is able to just allow the blow to kind of glance off using part of her weapon. It is XV's turn. XV, you hear very quickly the shouting has turned to the clashing of metal and a roar of Brewbark from a nearby building top. Do you want to continue to give up on the chase, or do you want to intervene?
Well, XV's thinking that if she was surrounded by the entire group with hostile intentions, I wouldn't win. I'm also very tired, so...
XV's just like, they probably got this.
I haven't gotten any sleep. I've been in a jail cell. I've been breaking out. I'm gonna go back to the hotel. And go find I forgot her name. It's been so long. Tayden.
Tayden? Okay.
Find Tayden and hang out with her.
Phew.
I will.
You guys left all the strength characters up here. What was XV is going to her form is going to dissolve quickly into a shifting humanoid, into a shifting cloud of darkness that is vaguely shaped as a humanoid. Very quickly, it moves and it consumes. Well, let's see. I'm just gonna roll a evens or odds here. You know what? It's gonna go it's gonna go on to Caesar's square. In a moment, Caesar, it reforms around you, jutting you from your square. Give me a strength saving throw, or you will be shoved. All right, and let's do this. I'm gonna move that there, and I'm going to replace this here. Well, I mean, she's being not very nice to you guys. Cease, you find yourself falling. You are shoved 5 feet as this thing reforms around you. You take 14 points of force damage, and in your place is a exact copy of you. Or is it actually you? Cease looks to Cease and says, "Damn thing tried to copy me." Cease, I'll give you a reaction if you want to spend it to grab the building side. Otherwise, you're falling 15 feet to the ground.
Okay.
Not off
yeah,
the
definitely.
side of the wall, though. So you're good on that front.
Okay. Yeah, definitely grab the edge.
Okay, I'm just taking it as your reaction. You can. You look
Okay.
up at Cease. Cease is going to point your flail at you and say,
I would not have pushed the doppelganger off the edge. You are the fake.
"Easy words for an imposter." That is... let's see. Regis! Oh my goodness gracious. Why do I keep messing up all of this? Regis, you get a turn. I moved it out of turn order because I was looking at the other XV. There is a C's and a C's here.
Can I tell which C's, like did C's move?
She became a cloud, consumed his square, and when the cloud reformed, a C's popped out of the cloud and was pushed. You know what? I will give you a insight check because you fought along with C's for so long. I'll give it to you for free, and that will let you kind of discern, like, C's doesn't stand like that. He'd have his legs swept under him so quickly, or something. Otherwise, you'll have to come up with your own methods to determine which one's
Nope.
Yeah. God, that's a good looking C's there. He's a big old metal man. Keep in mind, it is your bonus action to start raging if you want to.
Yeah, Regis is pretty pissed now about all this. First, he had to race after a copy of XV. Now, there's a copy of his friend standing there, and he's quite pissed. So, raging, he's going to shout, "Who won Halfling Ball?" And he's going to hold his reckless attack until he gets an answer.
Okay. So you'll hold your turn until one of them answers. I'm not going to give her another action, but she does move technically after you. At which point, I think C's is going to say, "Halfling, what? Don't be silly, let's focus right now."
Do I get to talk now, or do I have to wait on my turn?
You know what? Your turn's coming up. I think Brewbark will move forward. Brewbark is going to stand here, look to seize and look to seize and ready in action. Brewbark attacks the one Regus attacks. Seize, you have a chance to prove your seize.
I lost because you're a traitorous ball!
And Regis will attack the one who didn't call him a traitorous ball.
Okay, give me an attack action. You held your action, so you can take your full turn here.
You might want to wait for the knockdown if I get one, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, you just reckless. I'm assuming that you're gonna reckless.
Yeah, reckless attack.
He said
26.
Okay. I mean, that might deal a little bit of damage. It's just...
It's just a crit.
It's just a barbarian crit.
Let's see, 9, 11, 25.
It's fine.
32. And second attack.
The 15 and the 17 hits. Roll damage.
So that's another 19, another 21. So a total of 52 points.
All right.
And
as C's climbs back
also gonna go.
Well, give me 1 second.
And
as C's climbs back up onto the building, and C's is also saying, "Wait, your mace is, or your maul is going to collide in the back of C's. It begins to fuzz as a cloud its form, shifting, mists and vapors coming from it, before the doppelganger falls unconscious, reverting to its original form. It looks vaguely humanoid, a shadow condensed into the form of a person, its skin somehow both being pale, but behind the paleness a dark pigment within it. Its glossy body lies unconscious on the rooftop. Brewbark doesn't get another attack. You guys have defeated the doppelganger.
Yay!
XV, by the way, whose shadow this is nowhere around. What do you guys want to do with it?
Well, we need to drag this into, I don't know, someplace appropriate. One of those wandering... What is it? The wills? The somethings?
A temple of the wills?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Oh, let me grab my notes of the city.
Yeah, he'll throw it over its shoulders and walk off. Or, walk over to the edge of the building and drop down.
Okay.
Come down, whatever. Possibly with a, here, catch. Little teamwork there.
Brewbark is going to grunt, a little bit sad that he didn't get to participate. But otherwise, you guys are able to eventually climb out of... You're in the Underwind Thoroughfare.
I'll take your word for it.
Say that again?
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. You know what? I think this is better if I let you guys do this. One of you, either Regus or Regis or C's, roll me a D100.
I got it. 5.
Okay. That is perfectly fine. Okay, so as you guys are walking through the thoroughfare, you're going to pass a congregation of people. The Risen members are dispersing them. But otherwise, it seems that this place, wherever these people are gathering around, seems that the Risen are closing it for business. It only takes you guys a little bit to get back into Grace's Reach. You're able to find a Grace's Reach. You'd be able to find a temple with a second opinion. You guys do remember you went to a temple inside of Honor's Walk. It was called Vithora's Hollow. That was the area where you guys got the first opinion when you were getting XV checked out, and the doctor said that she would just need, or not the doctor, the cleric said she would just need time to rest. You can go back there, or just assuming you guys are going to go someplace else. Do you guys want to get the second opinion out in Grace's Reach, or do you guys want to go back to the Hollow?
C's kind of wants to go to the second opinion just because it'll be hilarious to go. So she got some rest and a beatdown and then turned into 6 different people at once. Oh, wait, I got the order wrong. Turned into 6 different people, then got a beatdown, and there she is. But no, here's the real one, actually.
All right, I'm going to come back to this part of the party, and I'm going to jump over to XV.
Yay.
XV, you are headed to Honor's Reach. Heading towards the arena are the windswept rounds to gain entry into the arena, and it is an entire fanfare as you have come. Different guilds have finally shown up today, and last time you guys were here, this place was barren and empty. Finally, with words that the new organizers are in town and that there are going to that the new organizers are in town and that there are going to be arena fights in the coming days. The different guilds of Alonagai have shown up in full force in order to participate and in order to be a part of the coming show. That said, I'm gonna say there are probably so many people here that you're not gonna immediately be able to find Tayden. Otherwise, if you remember the layout of this place, I'll allow you to navigate where guilds register. And if you don't, I will give you a history check to remember more stuff about this, and I can tell you whatever your notes don't have filled in. However, you do arrive at the windsweep rounds. What do you want to do?
All right. I'm going to check my notes real quick. See if I actually. That doesn't sound like something I would put in my notes.
Okay.
But no, I did not put that in my notes. Roll a history check to see if I remember which way to go.
Since you were just here, I'm gonna make the DC for it low. Okay. Looking around, this place has like the park that this is in has turned into essentially fairgrounds. Different guilds have erected tents here. There are canopies. There are rope fences that have been put up where different people are sparring and dueling with Risen members, kind of recording the duels. Among all of these structures, there is a large permanent structure on a hill in this park, and you do recognize that as the Order Hall of the Fae Felon Circle. It is where the people that they disperse to organize this arena come and live while they spend their time in Alonagai. You can make your way to the order hall, and let's see.
While I'm making my way there,
Mhm.
can I so the pop-up tents are like different guilds getting ready to fight, right?
Yes. And I mean, some getting ready to fight, some just here to sell wares.
Okay. So for the ones who are getting ready to fight, I want to look and see how many of them are missing their shadows as I'm making my way to the Fae Felons area.
Okay. Go. It is daylight here. You are outside of the inner city, so you know the sun is overhead. Go ahead and give me a perception check. I'm pretty sure this has been discovered amongst other players, so I will tell you it is a DC 22 check in broad daylight to recognize a shadowless person. It is not the easiest thing to see.
All right.
It is.
Anything.
Yeah, it is ridiculously hard to tell, you know, which people here have shadows and which people don't. For the most part, everybody you can see does have one or is standing in a shaded place that's too hard to tell. Maybe your own paranoia is getting to you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did just get kidnapped and saw my clone being made right in front of me, so the paranoia is there for a reason.
It's not trauma. All right.
All right.
Oh. As you are walking, you're going to eventually see Tayden on the path towards the guild hall. She is browsing a vendor's selection of wares, and come on, here we go. Boom. She is browsing a vendor selection of wares, and eventually she is going to notice you come by, and she's going to gesture for you and say, XV! XV!
XV walks over to her.
Are you feeling any better?
Is she standing in the shade?
Tayden, I'll roll you a percentage die. It is a 60% chance that, yes, she is in the shade of this tent. Alonagai is a nation on the equator of the world, and there's lots of sunlight here, an oppressive amount sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, she is in the shade.
Alright. So, in her normal awkward self, she's going to grab Tayden by the shoulders and shuffle her towards the sunlight so she can get a look at her shadow.
Okay. From what you can tell, Tayden has a shadow.
Alright.
She's going to say, "You're still not doing well, are you? You don't even look well. Gosh, you look like you got in a fight since you were... I last saw you this morning."
She's going to use her telepathy and go, yes, there's actually a lot that's happened since then. First off, beware of people without shadows. Second off, there's people making doppelgangers of us.
Tayden, who's surprised, is going to see your telepathy's working again.
I'm going to say my telepathy never stopped working. You met a doppelganger.
Her mouth is going to go a little wide. At this, she's going to say, "Yeah, keep your voice down. You're going to inspire a panic."
Exby
How
looks there,
about-
puzzled.
How about we pause right here, and working at this tent, there is going to be a dwarf kind of hammering away at some goods. Kyo, are you still there? You are muted if you're trying to talk. Oh no!
Yo.
I'm gonna message him.
Ruh-roh.
Alright, well, I had planned to introduce Kyo's character here, but we might come back to him. Unfortunate. But yeah, Tayden is going to tell you to keep your voice down.
Exby's shocked.
No.
Didn't realize she was talking.
Yeah. You're doing telepathy. Tayden's going to tell herself to keep her own voice down because she reflexively talks a lot to XV. And she's going to say, doppelgangers?
Exby nods.
What does she know about those? And she's gonna say, those are the things the Brindore Shadow Knights summon. There's some here in the city?
Exby nods.
And she'll roll another check, thinking, and say, I don't even know what they could possibly be after. Well, that's concerning.
Exby's going to say that when her shadow was created, that they said, I had the phrase written down. Big notes. Breath welcomes another daughter.
Breath welcomes another daughter. Tayden, again, is going to say, that doesn't make very much sense. Kyo. I see that you're back.
Yep.
Standing in front of your stall, there was a arena sponsor. She was looking at potentially weapons and armor for her guild members. One of those guild members has arrived, and they are now standing in front of your tent. They were talking to one another. One of the guild members looks incredibly beat up, and they have now gone to harsh whispers in front of you. Why don't you give us a description of your character? What does Tyson look like?
Tyson, he's a short, stocky young man. He has curly hair that reaches down to about his chin. Dressed in this red shirt with the sleeves cut off, dark brown pants, and these bronze black looking boots. On his hip, there's a bronze and black metal hammer. Looks like it has wear and tear of use over the years.
Okay. And does Tyson forge more weapons, armor, or like crafts? Is there any specialty he leans towards?
He specializes more in armor.
Okay. At this, I think Tayden is going to look down at Tyson and say, Master Smith, I wish I could hire your services to come and personally fit my guild members. Unfortunately, I just don't have their measurements right now.
Oh, is that so? What type of armor are you looking for exactly?
Well, she's going to think for a second, say, well, their well-being's important to me, and one of them is armor. I don't exactly know what happens if he gets hit hard enough. The others run around.
Armor?
She nods and says, the others run around practically naked. A sword in the wrong place, and I could be out of fortune.
Eggsy
Wow.
looks at herself up and down at how beaten up she is, and then nods in agreement.
And yeah, gestures to XV. My sentiments exactly.
I look to, I don't know her name, so XV, right? I point to her,
Yeah.
and I say, you look like you've been through some rough time, miss.
XV nods.
Would you like to take a look at some of my wares? See if there's anything you like?
She cocks her head to the side, looks at the place, and shrugs and starts looking around.
Tayden is going to
XV is also going to telepathically say Tatum's like, I don't think I can move in armor.
Tayden is going to write a note for Tyson, and she'll say, our guild is paid in blood, and I am currently sitting on a surplus of funds. If you could have your guild leader reach out to us. I would love to hire someone from within your ranks to design us a sigil or an emblem, and perhaps something to keep some of my companions safe as they engage in their practice. They're gladiators, and we'll be fighting in the Windswept Arena soon.
She says that out loud or in the note?
She says that out loud. She is scribbling on a piece of parchment with a piece of charcoal.
You guys are gladiators? How many fights have you been in so far?
XV's on her fingers going 1, 2, 3. And then she thinks for
How many
it's
arenas have we been in?
Then she thinks for a minute and goes, should we include the ones that aren't in arenas?
Tayden is going to say, we fought in 4 of the Feyfellin arenas, or Feyfellin Circles arenas so far, and we've won every single match. I do think we're going to complete the Path of Glory unscathed.
Oh, wow. It's fantastic. Always wanted to try one of the arena fights. Test my skills and such. Skills in both weapons, and I point to my Warhammer, and well as magic too. And I take one of my tools, take the Warhammer, and I smack it down and I break it. And I cast Mending to fix it.
Okay. She's going to look it over. It takes you a minute to cast Mending. She'll inspect the work, but she doesn't really know what she's looking at. And she'll also roll another check. She'll also think, and she'll say, well, we do have a magenta contract. She'll look at XV and say, XV, you're always getting so overwhelmed in the pits. Perhaps having somebody next to you there could relieve the burden. What do you think of this? Would it be useful?
XV thinks for a minute and then shrugs and nods her head.
Tayden is going to say, well, if you can take a sword in her place, then I suppose that's just as good as armor.
Okay, alright. Yeah, let me bring this note to our guild master, and perhaps we could talk more about this.
She nods and says, if they can afford to lose you, we can afford to pay you.
Alright, fantastic. Oh, by the way, name's Tyson, and holds out his hand.
Tayden will take it, and she will say, Tayden of No Circle.
Tayden of No Circle?
Of No Circle means she has no family.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, Tayden, I've got no family name.
Sorry to hear that.
XV hugs Tayden. And like showing him that he shouldn't be sorry.
Smiles a little bit.
XV likes
nod.
Tayden.
And she'll say, and this is XV, the primary caster of our gladiators. Unfortunately, she's been kind of getting bum rushed lately. But I think her luck's about to turn around. She pats XV on the back.
Holds out his hand to XV. Pleasure to meet you.
XV shakes his hand and then telepathically goes, likewise.
Oh yeah, she also does that occasionally.
You able to teach that? I've never been able to do anything like that.
XV thinks about it for a minute and then shakes her head.
Fair enough. Pleasure meeting you both.
They nod in likewise. So I have not had time to roll up your guild leader for the Ironmore for Tyson. So I think what would be easiest for this situation and for today's session, if Tyson goes to try and give this letter to the guild leader's probably in some sort of meeting with another business contract, but whoever he turns it into, like assistant guild leader or something, it's just like, you're just a yellow contractor here. Apprentices come, apprentices go. Hope you learn something that sticks with you, and on more amicable terms, if you find yourself wanting to be not getting smacked in the face with hammers and swords, you're welcome to come back. Maybe, in the future your guild leader might come and find you, but otherwise, Tyson is relieved of his obligations to his guild, and his yellow contracts returned to him, if he should seek to become a gladiator.
Alright.
With that, you can catch up to XV and Taden as they are moving closer within the guild hall, or to the guild hall. And John, are you there?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. As you are, as they are walking up the path, I would say that this conversation and this tent's probably one of the closer ones to the order hall. The different people walking in and out of the order hall are definitely the heads of guilds and the gladiators coming to fight. And for Larian has been here probably all morning trying to get recruited. You can just kind of tell who's every guild needs a sponsor in order to get entered in here. You can tell there's probably somebody rich who doesn't look like they should be fighting at all. That is leading some sort of grizzled group of gladiators or fighters of people who kind of two groups of people who don't look like they really belong in and out of this order hall. Each time you're able to tell and kind of make your plea on why you should be accepted, or any group that you want. Coming up the path, you are going to see a very unique sight. You see a elven woman. She is talking to another woman. I think XV is human.
She is human. She's tan, like she's dark skinned, but she's human.
Yeah, and following them is a short dwarf with sparkles in his eyes, looking up at his prospects. They do not look at all to be a full formed guild. If ever there was a group to pitch yourself to that would probably accept you, it would be this trio.
I'm sorry, I just had this image in my head of him with a stack of papers going, "Hi, my name is this." Would you
Yeah,
have
yeah, if
That's
Larian
exactly what
has
I'm
any
imagining.
props he's using, that's great. But how about you give us a description of what Larian looks like, as if he wants to step in front of this group or something as they're coming into the door.
Yeah, certainly. So Larian, he is a typical young human man. He's he's pretty young, and you can tell that he is young, not just from his looks, just by the way he's standing. He's just so excited he can't stand still, and he's been here all morning, and he hasn't lost a pinch of his patience. He just knows that this has to happen, and this has to happen today. And he is wearing chainmail armor. He has a mace and a quarterstaff, and his trusty shield that is on him, and he's just that.
Okay. Stepping through the door, or stepping towards the door of this order hall, Taden's going to be talking to XV and Tyson, saying, "Yes, when we fight, it's usually an uncoordinated mess. I suppose Z's is in charge of the tactics, and they haven't lost yet, so I don't complain about it whatsoever. Fortunately, there are a couple more arenas on the way, and as long as they keep winning, I keep making enough gold to pay my debts off."
All right. Cool.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, he just goes on asking about just like the other people in the group. Just like a whole bunch of rambling questions because he's very excited and such.
Okay. And you were going to say something, Sean?
What I was wondering is, so I see them coming, like walking in my direction, right?
Yes.
So I had I was a part of a guild before, so I'm guessing I fought in battles. So what I was wondering is, would I recognize XP?
Not XV. The person you recognize or that you have fought against in this group isn't actually with them currently.
We just
Okay.
recently started arena fighting.
So can I just
I mean,
make a move? Just
if anything,
move
it
on?
looks like they could definitely use your experience.
Okay, so Larian, he just, while they're talking, he just goes next to them and he's like, so I'm really sorry for just rushing in front of you, but are you by any chance a group or a guild of some sort, maybe?
She's going to say, "Paid in blood, the greatest gladiatorial guild to ever grace the path of glory, or at least
Wow.
the greatest one that is up and coming."
You know, up and coming, that's a word that I resonate with a lot. I think I, myself, am a great up and coming gladiator, and I think I could make a great addition to your little up and coming guild.
She's going to say, "You want to fight with Paid in blood?"
Do you want to fight with me?
She's going to shake her head and say, no, but seeing as we are growing," she looks at Tyson and says, we can use some additional support staff." She's gonna say, I do hate lugging our stuff and setting up my own rooms, getting all of our accommodations set. I could pay you. I
Now-
could pay you to be our squire, carry our gear. Perhaps you could gain a little bit of knowledge from watching some of our fights.
Now, while that is an interesting offer, first I think I should apologize for being too direct. It's just that I've been here for quite a long time, and here's the basic thing. Let's just be more humane our dialogue. I am a really good gladiator. I've done really good stuff, and I was just unlucky. My guild was not as collaborative as I would have wanted it to be. So I had some tough times, and I am now, as you can see, on a fair asking people if I can fight with them. So you might guess that this is not the future I had in mind, but as I've said, I can do great stuff for you, and you don't seem like you are going to do that well by just looking at you right now. I don't mean to judge, but it's just you are. I don't think you are a gladiator, and I don't think your guild is gonna be very good with just 2 fighters. So while you have the chance to get another good gladiator among your ranks, why would you just want a random squire?
She's
XV's taking a lot of offense to this.
yeah, she's going to
Tyson snorts out a bit of flame out of his nose.
We're all pretty much there together, right?
No, you guys are not.
It's just
only half the
XP.
group went to
We're
the
still up
downtown.
on the rooftop, aren't we?
No, you guys are headed to a temple. The other half of the group. But Jordan, you were gonna say something.
Shoot out
XV's
flames
going
out of
to her expression's gonna sour, huff, and then turn her nose up to this little kid.
Tayden is going to, at this, nod and say, I think you could make a wonderful addition to our ranks, but you would have to prove yourself first.
Well, I think I'll do a good job at what you think I should do.
She is going to nod, and she's going to nod and say, "They're more. Gosh, what would she refer to you guys as? Employees, gladiators, companions?
Embers.
Yeah, members. They're more members that I employ, and their safety is valued to me. Currently, it's being threatened, and for your first few weeks joining us, I would require you to stand guard over them at night."
So Larian is just gonna take a deep breath, just wait a couple seconds and go, okay, if that is what will end my suffering, then I'll do it. Sure, why not?
She'll shake your hand, and
shake her
she
hand.
will lean over and whisper to the woman next to her and say, "Look, XV, you've got somebody to take a sword for you in the arena, and you got somebody to get kidnapped by doppelgangers for you at night. This is wonderful."
XV looks at the kid again and just goes and just thinks about this. Still feeling very insulted. Not sure whether I like this idea or not.
Well, I mean, if you lose them, you don't have to worry. At which point, Tayden will give you the rundown of the group of just, we're paid in blood. We've been through, these arenas that we've conquered. As you guys follow her into the order hall, if anybody wants to introduce themselves, they're welcome to. Otherwise, let me...
Yeah, I think I'll
Oh, go ahead.
introduce myself to, I don't know his name yet, but the dwarf.
Okay.
I'll say, hey, sorry if I was a little rude. It's just, as I said, it's been so long.
Snorts a little bit. Says, apology accepted.
Name's Larian.
Tyson holds out his hand.
I shake his hand and say, nice to meet you, Tyson. And I won't say anything to the woman because
Okay.
I'm intimidated by her.
All right. Going inside of the order hall of the Feyfelon Circle, there are a collection of different guilds here, different fighters here, all congregating. Larian sees some of the people that he made passionate outreaches to in here too. Eventually, I guess I can describe the room. I've described this once before, but I will pull it back up in my notes. This order hall is kind of like a H-shaped building. You guys are going into like the central part of the building. Moving into the eastern part of the building, there is a well, a fountain in the middle of this gathering room that different groups are gathering around in a second floor of this building. And on the second floor, there are different offices and doors. Stepping out of one, you can see there are three elves. One appears to be cloaked. One is a woman, and the other is a male. And as they step out, the woman is going to hold her hand above the crowd, giving the signal for people to quiet. As it quiets down in the order hall, she's going to speak and say, "My name is Keaton of the Feyfellin Circle. I will be administrating over the windswept rounds until our previous contacts here are found. Amir's grace be with the investigators working on the case. Until then, though, you can be assured that activities inside of the rounds will continue regularly. Exhibition matches will be held tomorrow, just as normal, and same as the tournament rounds. All of the current standings will be preserved as the records I was able to salvage. The Champions Guild, the Ruby Fists, shall maintain their placement. The tournament guilds entered, the Emerald Fist, the Living Seal, the Chaldis, and the Ruby Fists shall all be welcome to compete for a chance to take the spot of the Champions Guild. Therefore, the exhibition guilds that are fighting, the Diamond Fist, the Seawind Company, the Merry Company, and the Midnight Shadow, along with Paid in Blood, will all be permitted to continue, or to put on their matches tomorrow. The contracts have been negotiated with your current sponsors at the rates that each guild will be paid out. As a final note, the Diamond Fist Guild, unfortunately, will be removed from the arena. They will, none of their guild members, nor their member Rulith Akaismith, will be allowed to fight in the windswept rounds for the remainder of the year. This is an official censure from the Feyfellin Circle. People in the crowd start murmuring as the murmurs pick up. Somebody's going to shout and say, "What did they do? They're magenta contractors like everyone else." Another person's going to shout and say, "Yeah, we should be allowed to fight." Keaton is going to speak up and say, Rulith was found to be fighting in unsanctioned fighting pits. The reason for fighting in these fighting pits is unknown to us, but there is a specific decorum that you're expected to maintain when you participate in our arena. Another member of the Diamond Fist is going to shout and say, "We're contractors. You can't control who we work for outside of the arena." She is going to say, "Yes, we cannot, but we can control who you work for while you are in here. And as such, you're expected to follow our guidelines and not fight in fighting pits. And then come to our arena. We will not be used to hone the skills of scoundrels or line the pockets of criminals. Therefore, our censure is final." There is a bit of murmuring before finally somebody steps up. He's got a large sigil of a ruby gemstone carved into a fist on his back of his jacket. He is going to raise his hand and say, "Oh, as the sponsor of the Ruby Fists, I'm withdrawing the Champions Guild from the arena. We are striking this ruling and this censure. If you can determine who we work for outside of this arena, simply on one unsanctioned fight, it's not worth our time or any of my members' dedication." people are going to eventually turn to him. Finally, the two groups closest to him. The Emerald Fists and the Diamond Fists withdraw too. The man who spoke up originally is going to say, I implore anybody with a magenta contract who embraces our Sky Queen's goodwill and protection to exercise the right of freedom here and join us. It's a few moments of silence before finally the Living Seal withdraws. Cheldus withdraws too. See when company's out until this business is sorted. Merry company too. Tayden is going to look to XV and say, what do you think?
XP is going to telepathically say, if there's no one to fight, is it even worth the fight?
She'll shrug and say, it's easy money.
There's no honor in it. As
Damn
C's would
it.
say.
Let's roll her a charisma check. She says, fuck C's.
Did you check my rolls?
Say that again?
Did you check my rolls?
I did not check your rolls. I want to check the shadow. So, oh, hey, you did. You beat the 22, Jordan. Okay.
I did it.
So I gave you a list of guilds that are here, and the guilds that have withdrawn. You said if nobody's fighting, is it worth it? There is one guild still fighting in the exhibition matches that hasn't withdrawn. As everybody is withdrawing, there is one group with a large smile on one group of within their ranks. One of the people have a large smile, a large toothy smile. It is I don't think you know the name of them, but through the process of deduction, you were able to determine the Midnight Shadow is the only group that hasn't withdrawn. You and Paid in Blood. Not the sponsor, but it appears one of their gladiators does not have a shadow. The sponsor is the one smiling. They do have a shadow.
Okay.
At that, though, when you bring up C's, Tayden is going to finally speak up and say, Paid in Blood will embrace this strike. We withdraw from the windswept rounds. She says so reluctantly.
XP is also, like, after she does this, points to the guild that hasn't removed themselves yet, and said they have a member without a shadow. It means that they have a doppelganger as their member.
You say that to your party members?
I say it to Tatum.
Oh, you say that to Tayden?
Yeah. The rest of the other two people in the party don't know what's going on.
The Lighting's just going, "Oh, just my luck. I got in a guild and now we're not fighting."
I know, right?
She's going to say, you'll damn well get your fight. Come on, let's go find the rest of the guild members. Grabbing XV and looking towards the Midnight Shadow. There is just like you guys, there is a bit of a disappointed rumbling before finally people are going to start shuffling out. With that said, do you guys normally we go to about this is about our stopping point. I think Eric's the one who we crunch time for the hardest, and he's no longer. Oh, I mean, not no longer with us. He's still alive, but he's not here tonight. Do you guys want to go for like 30 more minutes, or do you guys want to pause here and pick up next session?
I'm good with whatever.
I can
Do you
continue.
have
Same here.
Do you have more prep for us to continue?
Jordan, I don't have anything prepped ever. How dare you?
Fair.
But I mean, if you guys want to play more, I'm super comfortable with that because you guys haven't gotten a session in a while. So
Yeah.
uh,
I'm down to play more. I was just like, if it was going to be a burden on you, you're like, I have absolutely no idea what to do next. And I was like,
oh
stop
no,
it.
I'm happy to suffer. Life is awesome.
Life is suffering.
What is next is the group that is headed to the temple. All right, so we're gonna jump over to Os.
Sorry,
and
Brandon.
Jeff?
Real quick
What's up?
before like we move on and we time skip.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to state that I was going to suggest to Tatum that we need to have someone either tail or keep an eye on that guild.
The Midnight Shadow.
Yep.
Ooh.
'Cause
I
I'm
think
too happy.
Tayden, you know what? She'll say this in character back to you, and she said, "I think it's better if we don't even get involved. When we get back, to the inn, we can hire a blue contractor to look into it. If it's one of us, it could be potentially dangerous. The life I took in the Tide Gate was the last and only life I ever want to take."
XP just nods to that. We can skip now.
Yeah, at which point she'll look to Tyson and Larian and smile. If you guys want to add to your notes, Tayden killed somebody, question mark. You
Like, Larian just
definitely
went-
can.
Yeah, just,
It's one of
in his
those
mind-
smiles of just like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, in his mind, Larian's just, wow, okay.
I like Larry's
Ah.
point of view because he doesn't know that XP has telekinesis or is a telepath, so he's probably just like, why is Tatum talking to herself?
Yeah, like he has no idea what's going on. He's just happy that he found the guild and he's not asking questions.
All right. As for the party, looking for, and I'm gonna say you guys are going to find like a smaller temple, because I mean this is a little Nagai. Temples would be like corner stores here. You're going to be able to find a place out in Grace's Reach. That is manned by 2 lights of the Sun Yeth. They currently, rather than providing any sort of healing services, they are currently teaching a class. They have a small courtyard in front of their temple. Inside, there are different pieces of, and the doors of this place are wide open, and a small temple squeezed in between, several other larger buildings. Inside there is a small basin of water that is on the floor. Several different statues around it for offering prayers, and for this temple, several rooms in it that just these 2 live at. Outside, you can come across these lights, or one of the lights teaching. And if you walk by the class and into the building holding the body, the man that is outside teaching is going to look towards you. He'll give each of you a nod, and then he'll go back to teaching his class. As Brewbark sees and Regus step into the sepulchre, the entranceway to this church, you can look around inside of this building. You're going to see a elven woman emerges from one of those back rooms. She has a towel thrown over her shoulder. She is wearing her robes open and trousers underneath the robes. She's going to say, "I just got a sending. You need healing. Your companion." She looks at the corpse, or well, not the corpse, the unconscious body, and sees his shoulder and says, My, what happened to her? The goddess's favor, find her."
Hey, Brandon, before we get too far, if C's would have maybe thought of this earlier, if you don't mind, just like throw a cloak over the unconscious body or something, so it's not like I'm carrying a doppelganger down Main Street. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, to anybody like looking, it definitely looks like you're carrying a body, but might be cursed, hexed, spell
Right.
gone wrong or something like that, where it's just like you're getting a couple eyes, but it's not. It's a Lil Nagai. It's Sky's Reach. It's literally one of the cultural capitals of the world. There's weirder.
Right. He just wants to be not the weirdest thing walking down the street, maybe
Yeah.
second or third,
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so they'll look at the
I'll
elf.
revise her statement to, once, if you remove the cloak.
Yeah, he'll show her. And he'll show her and say, we need a private room to have a conversation about this.
She'll nod and say, well, she gestures to a stairwell that leads to the second floor of this building. Following her up there and into one of these small rooms, she'll say, well, I recognize this as a animated shadow of sorts, and I don't know the secrets of the Brenderai. You should know that I was raised in a Lil Nagai. That said, I can try and heal her to the best of my ability. The goddess's favor should still find her.
Well, hold on. So, earlier today, my friend, apparently, a human warlock, which I have known for quite some time now, was feeling off and her telepathy was not working. We went to another temple. They said, oh, she needed some rest. Well, then the actual friend of mine showed up. This one, you're already way ahead of me on the shadow. What was that? Doppelganger clone copy something?
Animated
Turned
shadow.
into 6 animated shadow. There you go. Turned into 6 different people while running away. Got knocked out, and then we brought it back here. And so this animated shadow thing is clearly a problem because my friend was abducted, thrown into a cell, and this copy was sent off in her place.
She's...
And then he thinks about it and looks down and to see if she's got a shadow.
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
She's going to say, her place. Shouldn't let your friend wonder. It's hard to tell in this building. I'll say sunlight's probably pouring through the window of this place. To the best of your ability, yeah, it seems like she does.
Okay. He's not above, since he's completely confused about that, evidently, telling her, hey, could you stand over here, in the sunbeam?
Mm-hmm. At which point she's going to be a little bit more focused on inspecting the body. And she'll say, your friend should be careful wandering the city alone. Women have been disappearing lately.
Uh-huh. Stand over here.
At this, she's gonna stand up and say, "Is this really the most pressing thing?" She moves into the sunlight. From the best of what you can tell, she does have a shadow.
Yes, it is, because there seems to be some kind of conspiracy thing. I've dealt with this sort of thing before. Like, there are people trying to take over the city using these shadow clones as opposed to, I don't know, spores or mind control gems or, I don't know,
We've been through this a time or two.
magical suppositories or something. I don't know. I don't know what you people do with your orifices, but it makes you crazy sometimes. Anyway, so yes, and this is one of the shadow clones. I don't know that it knows anything. I think I don't need a healer. This one will wake up in a little while. We know how to knock somebody out properly. We're gladiators. Try not to kill anybody in the arena generally. Oh.
She is going to say, from my understanding, the longer these things are alive, the more powerful they get.
Well, that's not good.
And only the person who commanded it originally can control it, or can exert any semblance of control over it. But if you dispatch of it, your friend should feel fine in a few days.
Wait, so is this thing draining her life or something like that?
She's going to shake her head and say, "No, I just heard stories of people without shadows having them reform slowly."
Oh, so the shadow will grow back whether this one survives or not.
She is going to nod. And I don't know. God, this is ethically dubious. And say, how long has it been alive? Has it been alive long enough to even become sentient?
It speaks. It probably a day or so. It does speak for itself to some extent.
I've heard stories of them taking on whole personalities. It's really
Oh,
fascinating that you even found one.
Oh, it did. It definitely had us good and fooled there for a while. So I think rather than, and your profession primarily is healer, yes?
She is going to nod and say, "Cleric, or a light of the given wills."
Yeah, you're being vague there. Healer? Is that your profession? I know
yes.
lots of clerics have given wills and things, and some of them are more...
I imbue and preserve life.
There you go. That's what I was looking for. So I think we need more of a, local law enforcement maybe, or, hey, let's not let the kingdom get subverted by whoever's making the shadow clones. Who do I need to be talking to here?
I can connect you with my order, but the Supreme Light could mobilize different forces of the Sunyeth to such a thing, but it is the risen members of discipline that see to the safety of the citizens of Ililnagai.
Let's talk to those then.
You see her open her mouth and then close it.
Don't hold back.
She's going to say, "Well, bless the Sky Queen's appointed name."
Hey.
The risen members of discipline, more so than any other school, follow her orders and mandates. And the list of mandates they put out yesterday, I don't know if the Sky Queen is guiding guiding the nation with the most sane of interests.
Oh, I don't know. I think the daily laughing sessions are probably a good idea, but shaking a cat shouldn't be that big of a problem.
I haven't laughed once.
You need to
She's
fix
going
that.
to say you only have 3 more days to do it. Oh yeah, for Larian and Tyson, I'm going to show these to you. Your characters have been in Alonagai for some time. 32 new laws were given out to the public 2 days ago. Breaking them could land you in a labor camp. So be very careful. If you want to read through them, I just shared them with you guys. Otherwise, you don't have to, and you can just risk it for the biscuits. But your characters would be informed of them.
Okay.
Otherwise, she's going to say, well, if you don't want me to dispatch of this thing for you, then, and you don't want me to heal it, I can try and restrain it here until you can find, until you can have a greater understanding of the events happening around you.
So, on the one hand, it's a potential source of information. On the other, I don't feel like I necessarily have a lot of say. It is not my property in any way, shape, or form. It's not my friend. So I'm happy to turn it over to whatever appropriate authority would take care of such things. But it sounds like the discipline folks are probably the ones to do that with. But I have no... If you feel like this is a terrible being and it must be immediately dispatched, by all means do so. I mean, I did try to save it from committing suicide, but that's mostly for the information side of things.
She is going to shake her head and say, no, actually, it's a being that harbors the embers of the goddess's flames.
Okay.
It might not look like normal life that manifests in Ilderon, but it somehow is a part of her design.
He looks down at his body, looks up. I think my idea of normal life includes some pretty broad definitions.
She's going to nod and say, if you decide to destroy it, you should do so quickly. Otherwise, you might be sitting in front of a light, debating why you shouldn't have to pay a life debt on it.
Okay. Looks at the others. What do you guys think?
Why not
Nothing
have
else.
it join us?
Because it's controlled by somebody else who probably has evil intent in this area.
Oh.
I mean, this is the same. Whoever created it has, as she said, some measure of control over it.
What if we killed them first?
See, I like that idea a lot better, honestly. Because really, this is a created being who's just kind of stuck in the middle. On the other hand, it is inherently dangerous and technically is only alive by stealing some bit of life force or something, or shadow from XV. And, you know, somebody steals something
done
from our people, then yes. But if somebody steals something, then we want it back, or, you know, want them to not benefit from it. I don't know. Brubark?
You know what? I'll roll a morality die for Brubark. God, this is hard. So Brubark, who doesn't remember his past, I feel like he'd have some sort of connection to this thing and would feel bad about killing it. But on the other hand, Brubark's incredibly loyal, not very smart, and probably cares about XV more. And says, if it will mend XV. I say we might not like it, but we get rid of it.
Okay. Well, with that misting thing, can it get through a closed door?
sees when it was on your square, it still felt like it was like mostly physical.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
It still had like some, I guess, like base structure of its form it had to maintain.
Okay. We can wake it up, see if it still wants to die. It was about to fling itself off the wall. But then there's that whole controlled by the master, and I really want to know who the master is.
The woman is going to say, I can wake her. And the light is going to place her hand on the doppelganger's head. At which point she's going to speak a word and say, breathe. At which point she casts Healing Word, and the magic is going to flow from her body and into the doppelganger. The doppelganger regains 7 HP, and she's going to slowly inhale, at which point the light is going to lightly tap her face. The doppelganger, still looking very beat up, is going to look up at the room, look at all of you, and then slowly take form, shape-shifting into XV.
So, Fake. Who's your master?
Can she tell you? She's going to shake her head and say, I cannot say. I was instructed not to. They are wise and powerful, and they wish you no harm.
I believe that last statement is a lie. I'll roll insight on it anyways, but C's is 99.9% certain that they are lying. 17.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the gig is up. This thing is trying to understand the world and you guys, and to the best of your ability, from what you can discern from it, it looks like it's being earnest. I think it will go on to state, I have failed them. They told me simply to keep you distracted, focused on affairs that bring you joy, upon which you've discovered me instead.
Well, you also took a friend of mine and incarcerated them. Or rather, not you, your people. Took a friend of mine and incarcerated them against their will. To what end, I don't know. But that is not a lack of evil intent. That is a terrible thing to do to someone. Especially when you personally are trying to convince their only friends in this world, potentially, I don't know, she's pretty nice, that everything is fine, even though it isn't. So, not wanting to hurt someone is an outright lie. You may believe it, but it's wrong.
She's going to say, for some reason, I know my master has killed a great many before. She has used others like me to kill a great many. But this, she did not ask of me.
Yes,
I
but
can
she
assure
still has...
killing you was not a part of any of the wisdom instilled on her, or given to me.
That's probably because we have no power in this city and nothing that she would care about. So what are her goals with making you to replace XV.
She's going to shake her head and say, "Your reputation in..." she closes her eyes and says, "Giacaifros is known to her. She only wished for me to do as I stated, to simply keep you focused on things that brought you joy."
That's because she knows if her truth gets out of what's going on, that we will kill her, like we did in Giacaifros, to the person trying to do the similar thing there.
She's going to shake her head and say, "I don't know of my master's... I don't know the depths of my master's wisdom. I don't think it's similar." The light in the room is going to say, "Well, actually, I'll roll her a history check." She'll say, "The Nazram base in Giacaifros, it was disrupted. What happened?" The doppelganger shakes her head and says, "I don't know." She looks to you.
Well, someone was trying to take over the town, saying they had precognition powers and trying to end crime there, when what was really going on is they had infested and taken over certain people in key positions with some kind of fungus thing, and turn them into fungus beings that look just like their original being. They were trying to take over the town.
I heard half the port was destroyed.
Well, yes, when someone manifests or creates 3 enormous fungus beasts to go rampaging through the town and try to destroy as much as possible, it's going to take us a minute to stop them. But stop them we did, with a great deal of assistance from the local guard and other forces. So, this is where our moral compass lies. If someone is going to take over other beings, put them under their control, steal them away, destroy their minds, and end their freedom, we're more than willing to stop it. And I believe this being is caught in the middle of that particular endeavor. And the master seems to have led with the carrot, but I am quite certain the stick will follow if we don't just get distracted and fall in line like good little puppets.
Huh. Jordan.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how often does XV think about or conceptualize puppets? 1 being practically never, 10 being very often.
Conceptualizes puppets. I think that would be pretty often, considering her backstory. So, like, an 8.
Okay.
Because she was, originally in a lab created to be used as a tool.
Okay. At which point, XV, the real XV, as I like to call her,
Please stand up.
is sitting in front of you guys, is going to say, "Puppets. I can assure you, you aren't puppets. If anything, I'm the puppet."
I know. That's the other worry.
And she's going to say, if I can't return to my master, and I can't be free, I don't think I wish to become a prisoner.
You wish to die.
She's going to nod and say, "Is it bad?"
Not as far as I know. And he reaches out and snaps her neck.
Okay. I'm going to let you do that because she's not going to struggle. As you do, the light is going to say a prayer for this fragment of a soul. Rather this incurs a life debt or not, she's going to, or rather the light is going to say, I'm going to have to put records of this event, or rather what happened here and the records that I submit to the Risen of those we help. I don't believe what you did here was wrong or unwarranted. If they decide to pursue otherwise, though, I will be certain to send word to you beforehand. Is there a way I can reach you?
For the time being, at least, I will be in whatever that inn was.
Okay. I actually don't remember where you guys are
Singing
staying.
Ghost Tavern.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
you guys
checking
are
that.
in the Singing Ghost Tavern. Okay, cool. I do have that on my notes. That's an iconic place.
So you mentioned.
That's an okay, cool. All right. So,
But let it be known that she asked to die.
fair.
Or it asked to die. And I
As
consent
you
help.
watch it, by the way, it
Mhm.
begins to dissolve. Pieces of it turning to a dark mist and then kind of falling to the floor and spreading out, thinning, and just disappearing. Let's jump real quick to XV. XV, you there's a part of you that you kind of like haven't been paying attention to that just kind of feels like it's been holding your breath. And then finally that part suddenly just feels gone. A piece of you has died. But with it, there comes kind of a new breath of just relief. It's a strange sensation, a little overwhelming for a moment, and then I guess, you're kind of back to your normal self as you slowly start to recover. I think through whatever empathic link you had, you can realize your doppelganger has been killed. Or at least dispatched of.
Yeah. Is my shadow back?
Looking down, no. Not immediately, but maybe, in the future you can try checking again. Let's jump back over to the other part of the party. Sees Brewbart and Regus. Where do you guys want to go?
Look at the light. How do we find these disciplined people?
I will let you to keep that question, but before you ask it in character, I will tell you as from Dungeon Master to player. The Risen are the eyes, ears, and hands of the Sky Queen's will. They are everywhere in this city. It is hard to go anywhere without bumping into one. You guys have seen dozens of Risen members walking the streets, or as you've been walking the streets. They were the ones doing crowd control of that crowd when you passed that building. People were congregating around in Underwind Thoroughfare. They were the people who passed out the pamphlets with the 32 mandates on it. They were also the people who gave you your magenta contract when you pulled into the port. it is not very difficult to find a Risen member, and finding a Risen member, they can, point you to any specific school you're looking for.
Okay. Well, in that case, just say, okay, I'm gonna go find a Risen member. Have a good day.
Okay.
Sorry for having to make you write up the report.
She's going to shake her head and say, "Nonsense. Lilia's grace be with you." And she's going to take the towel off of her shoulder and throw it over the face of the doppelganger as it slowly dissolves. She walks around the room, lights a few candles, and you hear her start chanting the mantra of the given wills. At which point, you guys can go looking for a Risen member. You get 2 steps outside of this temple, and there are 3 passing a corner.
Excellent. Flag them down.
Yeah. If you wave to them, they'll walk over to you and say, "Ilderon, citizen, how can we help you?"
First off, stand over here in the sunshine. Check for shadows.
Again, inspecting them. All right, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Y'all feel free to chime in on these, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, they look good to you. It looks like each of them has a shadow.
Okay.
She's.
Can I
going
get a
to-
bonus for actually getting them to stand in the sunshine first, just in case that's not already calculated in?
I am not going to. I'm not going to give you a bonus.
Okay. fair
And
enough.
it's for reasons that will later be disclosed if they ever come up.
Okay.
But she's going to say, "I'm on patrol with my students." What school is she going to be from? Actually, you know what? We'll make her from Letters Law. She's going to say, "We'll have to return to Letters Law and discipline reach soon." If you
good.
could be about, or if you could tell us how we can assist you, and then we can be back to the Sky Queen's will.
So, presuming, say, a friend of mine got duplicated by some kind of shadow doppelganger thing, and clearly somebody's trying to take over the town by replacing people, who do we need to be talking to here? Or at least, subvert large portions of them. And by the way, incarcerate them illegally, I presume.
She's going to say, taking over the town, Sky's Reach. I can assure you, the Risen of Discipline have the city well under control.
I guarantee you they don't. Not as under control as you think. Because if that was the case, then everybody would be out here checking for shadows and seeing who's the shadow duplicate doppelganger thing, and then going to track down where the original person is, who's been thrown in some kind of cell. And according to the shadow doppelganger thing, it said that its master had killed lots of people. So there's a mass murderer on the loose.
She's going to thin her expression and say, "So you've lost someone too?"
Well, we got them back, for which I think is probably due to the fact that we're gladiators, and they foolishly abducted a gladiator, and she kicks ass. So, and then because we kick ass, we actually brought in the doppelganger instead of losing track of it.
She's going to. Her and one of her students are going to make eye contact, and they're going to nod. She's going to say, "I would like to speak to this person. There have been a series of abductions that are being investigated in town. Any
Okay.
information they could provide could help us bring this closer to being solved."
Okay. Well, she's not with us right now, but we can go back to the Singing Ghost Tavern, and she'll show up pretty darn soon, I think.
Would you care for an escort?
Yes.
She's going to look to another one of her students, and let's give this student a name. Oh, also, men can be in the Risen now, so I'm gonna roll a. What's the likelihood this is a male Risen member?
10%.
No. It would have been 10% way back in the day, but now it's like, I would say maybe 25%. 1 through 75, female, and
76 to 100.
yeah. It is a female. All right. She is going to say, look towards her companion, or her student, and this is a shattered tiefling standing in front of you, and she's going to say, Teleth, escort them back to, you said the Singing Ghost Tavern
Yes.
in Honor's Reach?
Yep.
And you are to stand guard over them, and I will contact you later tonight. I'm going back to Letters Law, and hopefully we can provide more information to those working on the abductions. The woman is going to nod. She is going to place her hands behind her back, bow slightly, and say, "All right, citizens, with me."
So, real quick before she goes walking off,
Mm-hmm.
I want to use Know Your Enemy. What is
Okay.
her total class levels, total fighter levels?
Total class levels. Let's see. I'm gonna give her a D6 plus a D4 of class levels, and you learn fighter levels, but you don't learn any other classes.
No. Know Your Enemy lets me do fighter levels, total class levels, hit points, armor class, constitution, dex, and strength, but I only get to
Okay.
pick 2. So I just went for levels.
She
Because
has
if I'm talking to a level 2 character, we're going to escort her. Because
she has
otherwise-
less levels than you, and
Okay.
she has less fighter. And I guess she has no fighter levels. Is also equal to less levels than you.
True.
So
Okay. So Caesar look her up and down and say, if I turn you loose on this, your odds of getting beaten down and
and
abducted before you make it there.
you're talking to your guard, your escort, right?
No. I'm talking to the original gal.
Oh,
one that
the
was in charge
original.
of that
Okay,
patrol.
the original is different. This was for your escort, the student.
Okay.
The one that you are rather, they're not teachers. I have to look up. I mean, I will look up the name, but I forget the different ranks of the Risen members. It's easy for me to remember the lower ranks because I use them so much. Okay, she is an envoy of discipline, so she would be she would have more class levels than you, but she would have less fighter levels than you.
Okay. All right. In that case, I guess just tell her, be on your guard. If they think that you know anything about this, they will probably try to abduct and replace you.
And she can say they can try, but the Risen and the Risen of Discipline specifically are trained in arts pertaining to the safety of the public. Perception, investigation, self-defense. All of these are skills that we are taught to master when we join our school.
Okay, good. Maybe get a few more as you walk, but we'll take good care of this guy here. Don't worry about it.
She is going to nod and say, "Well, Teleth is one of my best students. If there's any I trust your safety to, it is her."
Uh-huh.
At which point she'll say, "Ilyaria and the goddess's grace follow you."
Good luck. Let me know how it goes.
All right. You guys head back to the Singing Ghost Tavern. I'm going to say the two halves of the party are going to be able to meet back up. I'll give you guys a little bit of time together, and then we'll end here for the night. But, C's,
Yes.
if you go to your party's personal quarters, I would say the Singing Ghost Tavern is big enough of a place that they expect to be getting guilds in often, and like 4 rooms on one end of the building on a floor would have like a little sitting area out of it. If like you guys could essentially rent off a whole section of this place, which Tayden likes you guys, she would.
Okay.
Heading up to your guild's area in the Singing Ghost Tavern. There are other people there you don't recognize. They are sitting with Tayden and XV. There is a dwarf and another man there. Probably not doppelgangers, but yeah. The rest of the party, XV, Larian, and Tyson, coming up to this hallway and into this seating area, you are going to see Big Metal Man, a short, tiny, angry man, and probably a somewhat hairy sailor, joined by a shattered tiefling. What's up, Jordan?
How long has this been since us at the arena and them getting back?
I would say you guys probably. For the sake of convenience, I'm gonna say you guys just got here and we're like settling in, and it's like, okay, what are we gonna do about?
XP hasn't had a full night's sleep yet.
Yeah.
XP would not be sitting down; she'd be laying down.
That's fair. But yeah, the whole party is back together. If anybody wants to describe their characters again, you're all welcome to. But
Well, if you go over to roll 20... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was wondering is, with the so you said XV was not the person that I fought before. So when this big metal man and angry man arrive, do I get any recognition? Maybe.
Yeah. I would say you would recognize C's. There have outside of the Fae Felon Circle is kind of like an elite set of arenas. There are other arenas in the world. These are just the most prestigious ones. And yeah, you'd recognize, like, wait a second, I fought a Warforged that looked kind of like that. He didn't have that thingy on his arm back then. And there's, some other smaller arena along the coast. But I would say there's some familiarity that you see when you see C's.
C's was saying something, I think.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you look over at roll 20, there's the bio sections, and I have a pretty good picture there for C's. You can look at that. He does not have a big tower shield on one arm. Its forearms are a little bulkier than usual, but otherwise it's a Warforged, and it does have S332 written on its throat plate.
As you stand up, or as you guys are walking down the hall, Tayden will take notice of you, and she'll stand up and point to Teleth, the shattered, who's walking with you, and say, "Who's that? Or
Escort.
Who's she?"
Escort. The light local constabulary decided that if we're going to tell them about some kind of potential takeover of the city, terrible, evil mass murderer running around or something like that, that we should have an escort.
And Tatum's going to nod and say, "She can come, but she stays back by the doors." Teleth is going to nod, not entering the seating area and stopping there.
Well, that is a tactically sound position, so yes.
At which point, XV, or rather, Tatum's going to gesture and say, "Do you know that XV we were talking to earlier wasn't even XV?"
Yes. We found it. It turned into 6 different people as it ran away. We beat it down and turned into a... I keep forgetting what they call the thing. Shadow, doppelganger, clone, something. Anyway, shadow thing. And beat it down, took it to the healer, had a conversation with it. It was prohibited from telling us anything about its master, aside from its master is a mass murderer, and really doesn't mean us any harm. But I think this one's the carrot and the next one's the stick. So it's dissipating right now. It's no more. So XV, if you feel anything weird, maybe that's why.
I'm in the bedroom right now, asleep.
Okay. So if XV feels
Larian-
anything weird, that might be why.
Larian just falls out of his chair, I think, after all this mass murder and shadows and all this stuff is being said. Larian just falls out of his chair and is like, "Oh, that's a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. Hi, I'm Larian."
Larian, Steez, didn't I fight you once?
Yeah, I remember you beating me pretty hard.
Well, I hit a little harder these days, but yeah. Well, I think you did all right in the arena, if I remember correctly.
Thanks, that means a lot. I'm hoping to be part of your guild, but right now I think I'm just gonna be standing watch at night. I don't know what I'm doing.
Standing watch. Usually I do that because I don't sleep. Well, I don't sleep. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
uh,
you were looking for a guild and found us, and here you are.
yeah, my guild broke apart because we kind of sucked.
Yeah, you had
Taken back.
what was that? A monk? Something came flailing at me at one point. I think I hit it once and it went down, or hit them once and it went down.
Yeah, we were all we liked the showmanship, but we had no actual function.
The thing is, the crowd didn't like y'all that much either. I mean, you I think did okay, if I remember correctly. The monk did some good acrobatic stuff, but couldn't stand up in a fight. And then the other two were just, it was acting, but it was so bad. I think the crowd laughed half because it was just embarrassed for them. I don't know. Well,
Yeah,
we're doing a lot better. We've done 4 arenas on the Path of Glory so far, and we're kicking ass and taking names for the most part.
Larian just kind of leans in closer to C's and asks, "This lady, does she not talk? Because like there's a dialogue happening, but she's not moving."
Are you talking about XV?
Yeah, I think that's her name.
Oh, she talks telepathically. Which, by the way, if she stops talking telepathically, there's something wrong, and you should probably beat it down because it's another damn shadow clone.
Okay, that's cool. Larian just says, "Oh, that's cool," and kind of gestures to the. I think he's a gnome, right? No, a halfling, right?
A dwarf.
No,
Tyson.
not Ilderon.
Yeah, Regus is the halfling.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay,
halfling.
kind of gestures to the halfling and just goes to the corner to try to comprehend all this stuff.
Larian, your brain sounds like it's full, but that's Regis. This is Brewbark.
It's best just to not think. We're better off just
Larry's
smashing.
like, I signed up for a guild. I didn't sign up for heroes and mass murderers.
It's just-
Speaking
It's
of not
interesting.
thinking, Tayden's gonna speak up and say, "Glad we didn't go to the fighting pits to get more money. The Feyfelon Circle censored another guild that participated in the fighting pits. Banned them from competing in the windswept rounds. Now all the other guilds are striking the coming bouts."
And what are you doing? What are we doing?
She's going to shrug and say, "We joined the strike just to save face. I was thinking about our
Good.
reputation."
Good. It's not good for honor to be seen as ignoring a strike, especially a righteous one. Also, power of a strike lies with the people. That's the only way we can really enforce our will on those with more money than the rest of us. But the good news is, with all that extra free time, there is a considerable amount of opportunity to make additional money dealing with this other problem. We just need to go get a blue contract.
Uh,
I think it's the blue one.
She's, Tayden's gonna say, "Look, I'll hire a blue contractor to look into this, but I don't feel quite right risking you all. We already almost lost XV."
Yeah, and the faster this problem gets crushed, the faster that we're not going to be losing people to shadow clones. Though I hear that the longer they're in existence, the more powerful they get, and this last one wanted to not be around anymore, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of risk there, but they keep getting stronger. Huh? Hey, Brandon.
Yes.
What's Larian's class level and fighter levels?
Equal and lower.
Okay. Tayden, did you seriously tell that guy he's going to be a guard? Tell Larian he's going to be a guard?
She's going to nod and say, "Look, XV was really on edge.
You know,
Having somebody
we're all
to-
going to... Go ahead.
Oh, having somebody to stand watch over her? I mean, if it only costs me 20 or 50 gold and I save a life," she shrugs.
Okay, we're all going to protect each other. And he's theoretically, at least, you know, capable enough to stand in the arena alongside me and the rest of us. Okay. He's got skills. I don't know how well he'll employ them, but I think he should go in the arena and just, you know, assuming that opportunity arises anytime soon. Fighting pits, whatever we end up.
And she's going to say, "Well, about that, she gestures to Tyson, and say, "I already got you guys another apprentice."
Great.
I wave my hand. Hey,
Greetings.
I didn't want to flood
Thanks,
you
bye.
with too much new skill in the arena.
What? We can always use some new heads around here. So Tyson, I've seen Larian fight. What do you do?
I'm mostly a spellcaster, but I'm also good with the hammer as well.
Excellent. Is that a little bit of coal I smell on you?
Oh, yeah. I'm also a blacksmith.
Oh,
My
excellent.
specialty
Forges can
is
smell.
armor.
It doesn't say we can't. Good. You and I should talk shop sometime.
I would like that. Also, I'm sorry if this is a bit offensive, but who made you? because I've never seen anything like you before.
Well,
He's just looking you up and down.
So my line of Warforged were made in 1007 approximately. I'm a shield class, and there's Brandon. Who was the group that made the originals? Made that run of Warforged.
I know her name. It will take me 1 second to pull it up. It's in my notes.
Okay. I was crafted by a group of craftsmen for Heimsdale, and I've done a lot of work on myself since then. My exterior armor was, I don't know, somebody at a village a while back. I got some splint mail, integrated it. This, however, and he shows his arms, this is my work. Well, mostly. And his sort of bulky forearm on the left unfolds into a full-size shield. Ka-chunk.
Oh, wow. It's just admiring the work. He
Yeah,
does
all
want to
right.
touch it, but he's not touching it out of respect. Just
Here,
looking
go
at
ahead.
all the-
Go ahead. Check it out. No taking
Yes!
it apart, though.
And he's just playing around with it, seeing what it could do. He's like, oh, wow.
Don't touch that bit. It's sharp.
Oh, you're right. Careful with that. Oh, wow. Does-
For Jeff Versees,
Yeah.
his creator is a arcanist by the name of Darla Soyanis.
Okay.
As Tyson Explorer just looks at sees, he realizes there were other people, and he was like, sorry about that. I really love smithing. He goes up to Regis, says, Tyson, nice to meet you.
Regis, long as you can fight good, you're good by me.
Happy to hear that. And he goes up to Brewbark. What was that?
Yeah.
Yes, Brewbark.
That was his name? Yeah. And he says, Tyson, nice to meet you.
Brewbark will shake your hand eagerly. Brewbark looks like he's not really there, like his mind's elsewhere. Perhaps at work.
Marion's gonna say to the entire group, just sorry for not meeting all of you. The situation is weird at the moment. I think we'll get acquainted later when I clear my mind. He's just half crying, I think, because he's never seen this much of stuff. Even the talk of it just frightens him quite a lot. Like mass murders and doppelgangers. He's just by himself.
Larry is having an existential crisis.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Don't worry, Larian. When there's fighting to be done, you'll see what's the problem, and your training should take over just fine.
Well, I hope so.
Anyway,
She's. Tayden is going to speak up and say, any of you know about this Ruloth Akai Smith?
doesn't ring any bells. Who is it?
Yeah, he was the one that got censured and fought in the fighting pits.
Okay.
Perhaps if we could get his censure removed, we could get the. We can also bring about an end to the strike earlier.
Maybe. That's probably a matter of dealing with the ones in charge and making them decide that, oh, maybe letting someone fight in another pit for the during their contract is not a big deal.
She's
I mean, really.
going to nod and say, well, out of all the guilds that withdrew, one guild didn't. XV said that they had a doppelganger amongst their ranks. I wonder if they even knew.
Probably not. Can we, I don't know, get some kind of magic light to shine on them, make them obviously doppelgangers, and as opposed to, I'm this normal person. That makes sense. True sight, something like that.
Cold voice comes from the doorway. Tayden kind of jumps at it, forgetting Tellith was there. Tellith is going to say, there's magic and metals capable of doing such things. You can hire an arcanist. You can hire an arcanist to do it for you, but also within the Queen's ranks. A proper request to the Risen could get you access to such things.
I think it's less a matter of having access to it and more a matter of getting them to show up at the right place at the right time to do their thing and go, look, a doppelganger. And, be ready to smack down whatever it tries to turn into to run away or something like that. But I don't know. Considering that this is a problem that is extremely relevant for other people, how much do you think we should be paying for it?
You're asking the Risen member?
Yes.
She's going to think for a moment and say, the price of the price of using the Sky Queen's services is 5 silver for each citizen, plus the price of the materials that you request. A spell scroll of a similar nature. She shrugs, says, it shouldn't be extremely expensive.
Okay. Well, 5 silvers isn't bad. I think this is more of I'm saying we are doing things that serve the Sky Queen's best interests. And maybe therefore should be getting paid for it rather than the other way around. Though maybe getting us started, we would need a little upfront investment. It's Tayden, I don't know, like shrugs.
Tellith is going to shake her head and say, I wouldn't presume to know the Sky Queen's intentions. Everybody who talks to her reports that she thinks differently. She's clever, but also strange.
Yeah, I've seen the laws. The new ones, anyways.
Tayden is going to ask, why did she make such wild mandates? Tellith is going to shake her head and shrug and say, neither me or my envoy knows. She was stuck in the Alyan Forest for quite some years, but apparently the Seated believe that she's the one most fit to lead our country forward, so we trust her judgment and her will.
Laughing's good for you. Shaking cats is usually a bad idea anyways.
But what's she got against cats?
No. It's not that she has anything against cats. You just are not. You're not
hats.
illegal to shake
Hats.
Oh,
Hats.
hats.
Yeah.
There were lots of mandates
Yeah, there's a
against
couple in
hats.
there with hats.
Well, if you're taking advice from a hat that's talking to you,
But
maybe you
maybe
need
I
to-
want to dance while wearing a hat. Is that so bad?
Yes,
that one doesn't seem
Tellith
like
says
a
from the doorway. It is
I
worth,
mean, yeah,
it is worth
it is.
noting Tellith is a Risen member of Discipline. She is essentially a cop.
Oh yeah, I hate hats. Definitely.
I don't think you should hate a hat. Just be careful around them.
I guess so.
I mean, if you had a hat with a knife sticking out of it, you probably shouldn't be dancing.
Do you guys want to give me a direction for your next course of action, or we can pick up here next session?
I have one quick question that'll maybe nail it down a bit.
Okay, hit me.
So, you said metal. You said magic or metals that could reveal the doppelganger. What's the metal? What do you need to do with it?
And you are asking, Tellith?
Yeah.
She is gonna roll a history check on how knowledgeable she is on this. She's going to shake her head and say, it's new science from the university. They can enchant weapons. I think it's called moon touch. She shakes her head again and shrugs and says, I don't really understand how it works, but when you hit things that can move their form, they can't really hold that shape anymore.
Wait a minute. Moon touched? What is the thing that I have a... You mean the ones that just glow a bit? Because I have a Warhammer that does that. Yeah, moon touched, right here.
Oh, no. And you know what? She'll correct herself. Moon drenched.
Oh, wow, it's just touched, not drenched.
Yeah. And she'll say, I've seen a few within our ranks use them, specifically when dealing with illusionists. That is a enchantment available to you guys too as players on the loot table.
Yeah, with a lot of loot points, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Are we good to stop it for the night?
Yeah. We'll end here for the night, and we'll pick up next session from here. If you guys want to talk in your Discord channel, just kind of what your plans and aims are, there are a lot of options in front of you. If you guys can find out why Rulith fought in these fighting pits and get his name cleared, perhaps you can find a end to this strike. Investigating, more of these doppelgangers and what's going on inside of the city is a thing, and also waiting for what's her face's Tellith's envoy to come and take down your information is an option. There are lots of things you can do. So this is going to be the new way. I'll talk about this after we're off the air. Let me do experience, and then I'll end the broadcast, and then I will hang out for a little bit. Story experience. You guys returned XV's shadow to her. You also met the new arena organizer, and she is a stickler for the rules. And I guess I'll give you minor story experience for the strike and joining it. And I will give you minor story experience also for adding 2 members to your party organically. With that, I'm going to say for the story tonight, it's going to be 2,250 experience for everybody, and there is another moment that happened tonight that I specifically set aside in my head that I said I wanted to give inspiration for. I'm trying to remember what it was or who it was with. I'm just gonna say good roleplay all the way around, and I'll throw in another 100 experience. 2,350 experience, and our next session is going to be on the 25th of July. I will be moving on the week of the 18th through the 24th. Ideally, I want to be in Montgomery on the 24th and settled, so ideally it won't affect your guys' session. If it does, I will let you know ahead of time. But yeah, I'm going to end the broadcast there. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your night. Goodbye.